everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And we are here to recap the Minnesota Vikings 28-27 victory over the Carolina Panthers. This was a Panthers victory basically the entire way until the very end of the game.
I think Matt Rule had a bet for the Vikings to win because he coached that way. He gave this fucking game away. Sorry.
Okay. You're super angry about it. I've calmed down
why?
over the last 5 hours.
I mean, seriously, why are you not angry at this game? Why are you not angry at Matt Rule, Joe Brady, and Phil Snow? This wasn't on the players. Yes, Joey Sly, you should make a 54-yard field goal. That is your job. That's what you're hyped up to be a long kicker. And you had no chance at that. As soon as you kicked it, you shanked it. I would have shanked it like that. I mean, granted, I would have never been able to get nearly close to that length, but
also you wouldn't have been on the team.
True, exactly.
As soon as that very first Joey Sly extra point that he kicked, I looked over at my wife and I said, "He's gonna miss a field goal today." Yeah, I don't like the way that looked. And you can always tell with Joey if the first kick is right down the middle, he's gonna have a good day. That one was almost missed. It was just inside the upright. I knew he was gonna miss one today. No, I mean I was upset right after the victory, and I'm still, it's a bummer. It's a bad loss. It's an excruciating loss. I guess just looking bigger picture, I found actually a lot of positives to take away from this game. Your boy Jeremy Chinn, our boy. I'm not giving you credit for him. It's our boy Jeremy Chinn. We were both super high on him. Is just a revelation, and is, if not already, probably already is the best defensive player on this team by far, and is going to have a great future with the Panthers. I thought we learned. We'll get into it in a minute. Let's start off with our 3 key plays of the game.
We're going to start off actually talking about Chinn. We're going to combine the back-to-back Chinn fumble returns for a touchdown. I honestly gave it a little bit more to the second one because that was back-to-back first down. Vikings, Chinn strips Dalvin Cook, grabs the ball, runs it into the second touchdown. I mean, Panthers haven't even been on the field offensively, and they are 14 points up in this half. I mean, that's
in the third quarter, by the way, which is like Panthers' kryptonite is the third quarter. And they absolutely took control early in the second half with those 2 back-to-back. I mean, back-to-back plays of Chinn taking it into the end zone. By the way, the first player, I'm sure everyone's heard this by now, but the first player to run in 2 fumble recovery touchdowns in the same game since like 1948, and only the third player in NFL history to do it in a single game. So making history, he will probably be the defensive player of the week again this week, I would imagine.
Can't imagine he wouldn't get that. With not only that, he led the team in tackles.
Yeah, 13 tackles.
But after that second possession, we stopped them. They got down to 4th and inches. They went up there and they tried to call us off guard. We didn't jump. So they punted the ball to us. We have a nice 11-play, 65-yard drive, and then it stalls in the red zone. I'm like, okay, we're up by 11. Let's kick this, get it in for. The field goal was blocked. This is the second key play of the game. Once that blocked field goal happened, it gave Minnesota life again. I felt if we would have scored a touchdown on that drive or even that field goal, I feel like Minnesota kind of would have just not rolled over because they're still a good team, but you kind of lowered your head.
Yeah, it definitely is a different game at that point. I mean, at that point, you're up 2 full touchdowns, 24-10 at that point, if that field goal is good. And it's just a momentum play. It's a big momentum play. And after that, the Vikings went down, scored a field goal of their own, and they were suddenly within 1 score.
Exactly.
So that it makes it's a big difference. Big key play. We should talk about it. No, we just did.
And our third key play of the game, 3rd and goal at Minnesota's 3-yard line with 1:56 on the clock. Minnesota out of timeouts. They go for a pass. What are you thinking? What are you run the ball. Your run game was working most of the game, except for in the 3rd quarter where you abandoned it again, or 4th quarter, you abandoned it. Why not run the ball? If you don't get the touchdown, you drop them down to 1:10 left on the clock to try to drive the length of the field instead of 2 minutes. Even if you score that, because DJ was wide open, it's still a stupid play call. It's so stupid. Where do you learn your clock management from? Sesame Street? That was dumb. That was pure and simple dumb play clock management. My 15-year-old nephew texted me after going, why didn't they run the ball? And I was like, I don't know. Because they want to be aggressive, but there's a certain point where you have to play smart, and that was not smart.
Yeah, well, clock management, as we've talked about, has been a trouble spot for this team all season long. And that play is indicative of it 1,000 times, right? You could also look at the same, technically it's the same drive, that play that you're talking about came after a muffed punt recovery or a muffed punt reception by the Vikings. They got us down to that point. But the 2 plays before the punt were also throws with less than 2.5 minutes left on the clock.
Yep.
That you could have run either one of those and probably taken it down to the 2-minute warning.
Yep.
Right.
And I have
the
that
2
in my
throws,
notes.
by the way, were to Smith and Ian Thomas, 2 guys who aren't known for catching the ball, especially in key spots. And the first play of that particular sequence was a run for -4 yards. So maybe that's why they. And by the way, why was Smith in the game at that point? Why wasn't Mike Davis in the game? He had just had 2 runs, 1 for 9, 1 for 5, and then he's out of the game. And then you've got Smith in there who goes for -4 yards and drops a wide open pass.
Smith did not have a good game. Davis was having a good game. I don't understand it either.
Davis should have had a much better game.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. That 4th quarter, they had a 2-score lead. They should have been bleeding the clock, running the ball, going John Fox, Ron Rivera style football. But Joe Brady and Matt Rule just some reason thought, let's go aggressive and pass. Teddy Bridgewater had a crappy game. He was bad from the start. Yep. I don't understand why we are running the ball well. Teddy Bridgewater was sucking. Let's just keep throwing the ball. Matt Rule, you're supposed to be a good coach. You have to go with the hot hand.
Okay, let's calm down. Matt Rule is a good coach.
Well, this game is indicative of that.
Matt Rule had some poor coaching decisions in this game. Matt Rule, Phil Snow, Joe Brady, whoever was making those calls. I don't know that Matt Rule is calling the plays on the sidelines. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's not. But he should have been more involved in this spot, especially with how bad the time management has been all season. I don't understand it. And you're right. Teddy Bridgewater had a terrible game today. 19 of 36, 267 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And it looked worse than that.
Yes, it really did. There was 38 pass plays called to 26 run plays. And again, Teddy Bridgewater wasn't playing good, and the run game was moving along.
Yeah, the run game was okay. I mean, it wasn't setting records or anything, but they were moving the ball. And the defense was playing well. The defense was shutting down, the most, what we talked about, right, in our preview. What would you rather do, shut down the pass or shut down the run? They were shutting down the run.
Absolutely.
Dalvin Cook did not have a very good game today. 18 carries, 61 yards. I mean, that's pedestrian for him, especially.
They held him to 82 total yards. That is absolutely wonderful.
So as we said, Bridgewater, tough game. Mike Davis, 15 carries, 55 yards. So an average of 3.7 yards per carry, which doesn't sound good. But again, he was moving the ball forward
Mm-hmm.
every single time he touched it. Rodney Smith, 7 carries for 18 yards. Way too many carries for Rodney Smith in this game. It should not have been a 65-35 split for them. It should have been those 7 carries should have gone to Mike Davis.
Yeah. Or Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, and then Trenton Cannon also 3 carries for 17 yards. Now he looked quick every time he was out there, but one of those carries was 13 yards. So, that's pretty much the entire production there. And then Curtis Samuel had 1 carry. By the way, why didn't Curtis Samuel get some of these red zone carries? That's worked for us all year long. Why was that not on the plan today? I don't get
it. Bad play calling.
Bad play planning.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers receiver wise, this was a decent game for a few of these guys. Robbie Anderson, 4 catches, 94 yards and a touchdown, a beautiful 41-yard.
Yeah.
Of course, the first touchdown for the Panthers, 41-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, he put on the Jets there.
Yep. He finally scored again. It's the first time since week 1. So congratulations. Hope we see more of that the rest of the season. And then Curtis Samuel was our second leading receiver in this game, 5 receptions for 72 yards. And DJ Moore, after posting a huge game last week, sort of back down to he and Teddy's connection just isn't there. It's 4 receptions for 61 yards, and they missed him, as you said, in the end zone there. He was wide open. That was a weird play altogether. Of course, DJ gets hurt on that play. Don't really know the extent of that, but I've seen speculation of an Achilles. I've seen speculation of a calf sprain.
Let's hope calf sprain.
Hoping calf sprain, yeah. And then, there's just 1 catch for a few other guys. So that's pretty much the entire.
DJ was targeted 9 times, and I only saw 1 drop by him. Those rest were Teddy Bridgewater just throwing bad throws. Again,
what was up with Teddy in this game? Like, was it nerves for being back in Minnesota? I mean, there was no fans there.
Maybe there was some rust. Maybe his knee's still bothering him.
He's only out for 1 game.
I don't know.
Would the Panthers have won this game with PJ Walker at quarterback?
I don't want to go there because I have no clue.
No, I want to talk about it. This is what the podcast is for. Like, do you think the Panthers would have won with PJ Walker? I do too.
PJ Walker.
I'm going to overreact here, and maybe not an overreaction. This is what I think Teddy Bridgewater is more often than not, is a nice quarterback, not a franchise quarterback. And I think games like this, which we've seen several of this year, it tells the Panthers what they need to do. They need to go out and get them a quarterback. Teddy's not the future here.
This is one of his worst games. This game, the Tampa Bay game, and I want to say one of the second Atlanta game were his worst games. But what PJ Walker kind of did is he was able to throw the deeper passes with more accuracy.
Yeah.
And again, Teddy tried to push the ball down the field this time. He had one that he threw up to Curtis Samuel for 35 yards. Another one
was sort of a desperation throw towards the end of the game. That was a great, nice throw and catch. Well, he had the one to DJ Moore,
and he overthrew
missed.
it.
Yeah, that was a bad throw. And then he had the one to Robbie Anderson, which, had he thrown it well, would have easily been a touchdown.
Yeah, if he would have gotten it.
He threw it a little too close to the sideline. And those are the throws that you have to make if you're going to be a franchise quarterback. He did not make them. Now, I'm not saying that PJ Walker is the future of this team either. Please don't get me wrong. That is not what I'm saying. I just think that PJ Walker would have given the Panthers a better chance to win in this game. And I don't know if it was Teddy just not right, like maybe you're postulating here, is maybe he wasn't fully healthy. Maybe it was nerves, or maybe he was just having one of those games that he has every once in a while. I don't know. We're going to talk about heroes and zeros. We will start with the heroes, and as usual, I will let you go first, Jerry.
I think my hero is obvious. We've been saying he's a revelation with this team. In the preview, I said I hope he has a turning point breakout play. He had 2 of them. Jeremy Chinn
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, what can you say about him that we haven't already said? I mean, I'm gonna go right with you. I mean, usually we try to choose a different person. He's by far and away the hero of this game. And I'll just give a special shout out to Corn Elder, like I did earlier. I think he had a nice game today. For the zeros, I know you're gonna give it to the coaching staff more than likely. I'm gonna give it to Joey Sly, just because, again, this is another 50-plus yard field goal that he missed.
Yep.
This was an extremely important part of the game. He did have one blocked. I haven't gone back and looked at that to see how much of that was on him or just poor blocking by special
I think
teams.
that was poor blocking, if I remember correctly, because I watched it a couple times in the highlights.
Sometimes those are on the kicker. Usually it's if it's a little further out, but that one wasn't that far of a kick. But just you got to start making some of these with the game on the line, and I'm hoping that he will do that in the future to keep his job. But he gets my 0 today.
My 0, like you said, coaching. A bad coaching cost the Panthers this game. That fourth quarter coaching was just pure awful. Phil Snow reverting back to your 3-man rushes and 4-man rushes, and that's it. When the other way was working most of the game, we are causing them to punt. And then Joe Brady, you got a 2-score lead with 6 minutes or so left. Run the ball, bleed that clock. The clock is your friend to use. You don't need to outsmart and act like you're some genius coach by throwing it there. Just run the clock out. It's okay. It's okay
to win with a boring fourth quarter, or boring last drive in the fourth quarter. That nobody's going to remember that. They're just going to remember the W.
Exactly.
And then we had enough of excitement in this game. We had 2 fumble return touchdowns by Jeremy Chinn, something that never happens. So
a beautiful 41-yard reception by Robbie Anderson, which was almost all Robbie Anderson.
Yeah. Get this team the win. Let these guys enjoy a good game.
Mm-hmm. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show.
Everybody keep your heads up, keep the faith, and keep pounding.